Yikes, brother. No, UNC was up 7-0. I thought maybe this wasn't so bad for Belichick, but boy did he get a reality check. Bill Belichick's first game at UNC, he almost gets a 50 bomb put on his head. I mean, other than that first quarter, TCU dominated the rest of the way. They had a pick six near the end of the first half. Beginning the second half was a 75-yard rushing touchdown. Damn. Not much to say except humble beginnings, Belichick. Very humble beginnings. Also, Gio Lopez. Yeah, ACC is different from the Sun Belt, isn't it? With that out of the way, let's get to the video. Welcome back to Grizzly Talks Football. I'm the Grizz, and ladies and gentlemen, we got the Week 2 AP poll for college football, and then afterwards, we will go over the NFL team tier list, the final one for the pre-week 1 of the regular season. Make sure you check out the link to season 2 so you'll all have all those videos, all those episodes, so you can go ahead and catch up on everything up to date, and you'll also have it for future episodes whenever they come out. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos, and it helps the channel a lot. Without further delay, let's go to the Week 2 AP poll. Like we did for the preseason, we're going to go through 1 through 15, and of course, go with the bottom 10 also. So, kicking things off, we got the top 5. We got Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Georgia, Miami. Ohio State, of course, went into 1 versus 3, deservedly being number 1. Penn State being number 2. I'm honestly not mad at it. You know, they played an FBS team in Nevada, but they blew them out, so no real penalty here for Penn State. A big surprise to me, LSU goes from, 9 to 3? They jumped up 6 spots since they beat number 4 at the time, Clemson. That was a big surprise because, Brian Kelly doesn't exactly, lead his LSU team to that high of a ranking. I think this is his highest ranking with the LSU Tigers. Then, of course, you got Georgia. They dominated Marshall, and Miami came off of a big top 10 win against Notre Dame when everybody, including myself, thought Miami was overrated. But let's be honest, this is all part of the plan because we all know Miami's going to choke in the end. Let them get that hot start. Let them all get all the hype onto them. Let them get the Carson Beck Heisman chance going, but then they're going to choke this in the end. Just watch. Overall, not a bad top 5. Then for 6 through 10, we got Oregon, Texas, Clemson, Notre Dame, and South Carolina. Oregon played Montana State. Oregon handled their business unlike last year with the Idaho Vandals. No questions asked there. Texas moves down to number 7. That was interesting. They didn't even get blown out. It was a low-scoring game, and Texas was just on the short end of the stick on that one. They should have probably still be in the top 5, in my opinion. Clemson drops down to 8, pretty understandable. Same with Notre Dame, losing to Miami. South Carolina, big win over Virginia Tech, more or less, but still able to get into the top 10. 6 to 10, not terrible. I mean, Texas could be moved higher, but it's whatever. Then we got 11 to 15, Illinois at 11, Arizona State, then Florida State, then Michigan. Illinois took care of business against, I believe they played at FCS school. I'm very sure they did. Same with Arizona State. I do feel like Illinois could be 11 or 10 with South Carolina. Those two are interchangeable, but pretty nice ranking for them. Arizona State, of course, at number 12. They had to handle their business with NAU, also known as North Arizona. Then you have Florida. I think they also played a FCS school. DJ Lackway, of course, is the quarterback. He actually played pretty nicely. But then we got one of the biggest shockers in this top 25. Florida State jumps all the way up to 14 after taking down then number 8, Alabama at home. It was a really big win for the Noles. I feel like they kind of slightly overhyped them just a bit. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Mike Norvell is a really good coach and Tommy Castellanos is quite a beast as a kind of just a Fields kind of prototype. Also, but the fact that Alabama's defense is absolute dog shit. Then we got Michigan Wolverines. They played New Mexico, the Lobos, and Bryce Underwood actually looked pretty solid in a pretty big win, as in a blowout. Up next, 16 through 20, we got Iowa State at 16, SMU, then Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. Iowa State, of course, got a Big win in week 0 against Kansas State in Dublin, Ireland. And then they followed that up with a FCS win. Not any questions there. SMU handled their business with, I believe it was an FCS opponent as well. Then Oklahoma and Texas A&M. No, Texas A&M played UTSA. Oklahoma and SMU played FCS opponents along with, I think, Ole Miss. I still do have a problem with Oklahoma being ranked at 18, even though they had a 6-7 record last year. And Ole Miss, man, Austin Simmons, he's not doing too bad, man. I think this program is going to fall off, though. They have their years of glory. Now it's time for the downfall of Ole Miss. And finally, of course, we got 21-25, Alabama, Tennessee, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Utah. And yes, BYU is not ranked despite a 69-0 victory over Portland State. Of course, Alabama dropped 13 spots after losing to Florida State on Saturday afternoon. Very shocking loss, but also not as surprising as people believe. Tennessee handled business with Syracuse, that's why they're 22. Honestly, could put them above Bama, but that's for another matter of time. Indiana 23, I think they actually went down from their previous ranking of 20 because of a performance against Old Dominion that was not great. Fernando Mendoza wasn't that great. Joey Aguilar was actually pretty nice. Then we got Texas Tech at 24. I think they dropped a spot, I believe, even though they completely smoked an FCS team. Still don't know why they're ranked here, even though they've not really been in the rankings at all last year. And then we have Utah, who completely smoked Nico Iamaleava and UCLA. Some disagreements there and then, but overall, very solid top 25. And now, let's head over to the NFL team tier list. And here we are with the NFL team tier list. The final one before week 1 begins. Also a tier list, also power rankings. Kind of the same thing in this situation. And also, shout out to Ninja for the categories. I actually got that off him. I'll make sure to put a link to the tweet so you can go view his tier list alongside mine. I say we just get straight to it. First off, of course, we got the Arizona Cardinals, and I believe they are going to be missing the playoffs. They're not exactly mediocre. Sure, they made a splash in the offseason by getting Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's pretty much the only really significant move they really made. Because other than that, their team is pretty much the same. Offensively, Kyler Murray, James Conner. James Conner's pretty decent. Kyler Murray, not too sure about him. And he has a decent receiver core, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson. Hopefully Marvin Harrison improves. Greg Dortch, a sneaky wide receiver 3. It's just kind of hard to really bet for Arizona to really make any noise here. Next up is Atlanta. I'm going to put them in potential wild card. They're also young but intriguing, but you got Michael Penix out there, quarterback, Bijan at running back, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, wide receivers, tight end Kyle Pitts. Hopefully he gets it done. Fortunately, we lost Caleb McGarry for the entire season. That's going to be the big question mark besides the pass rush. Our starters on the edge defenders are Lorenzo Carter, Arnold Epiketti. I'm fine with Arnold, but at least give a shot to Jalen Walker and James Pierce to start as well. Secondary looks nice with Jesse Bates, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman as a nickelback. You also got AJ Terrell out there starting corner. I think Mike Hughes is cornerback too. This team has potential, a lot of upside on both sides of the ball. But can they make the magic happen? That's going to be the big question. Up next, we got the Baltimore Ravens. Come on. They're Super Bowl favorites for a reason. One of the Super Bowl favorites, Probably the best roster in the AFC. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. You got Zay Flowers. Now you got DeAndre Hopkins out there, along with Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews, and a stacked offensive line. Nice defense as well with Odafe Owe. You got Werner Smith leading the linebacker core. You also got a great secondary with Jair Alexander, Nate Wiggins, and the safety duo consisting of potentially Malachi Starks. But you also got an All-Pro in Kyle Hamilton. This team's going to be disgusting this year. The AFC North's pretty much on their lockdown right now. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills. I am definitely going to say they are Super Bowl favorites as well. Josh Allen leading that offense, defense. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice, especially with Joey Bosa, one of their newest additions. Lost Stephon Diggs. I think they lost Matt Collins as well, so the receiving room leaves more to be desired. Actually, they lost Stephon Diggs a long time ago. Tight end duo of Dalton Kincaid. Hopefully he can get it going again. And also Dawson Knox, a very decent and underrated tight end. Offensive line looks good. Defense looks stellar. If the Bills can keep this up and win the NFC East again, it's going to be just only a matter of time before the real test, the playoffs, occur now. Next up, we got Carolina. I'm going to put them in young but intriguing. Yeah, that's a good ranking for them. I mean, they got rid of Adam Thielen for some reason, but running back duo of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle should be interesting. Bryce Young quarterback. You got Ted McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker as the wide receivers. Tight end leaves more to be desired, I think their starting tight end is Tommy Tremble. Offensive line, has room for improvement, but the defense is going to be the biggest concern here. Derrick Brown, J.C. Horn are among the most notable names. Maybe the big question is, will anyone else step up on the defensive side? Next up, we got Chicago Bears. I'm going to put them in playoff contenders here. Oh, it's happened again. The slow-ass fucking, I don't even know, the slow tier list mover. The Bears have fit one of the most improved teams this offseason. They got good offensive line, especially in the interior, trading for Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, and signed Drew Dahlman on the interior. Also in the trenches, they were able to sign my man Grady Jarrett. You got Caleb Williams at quarterback. You got DeAndre Swift at running back. He wasn't too bad last year. Receiving core consistent of DJ Moore, Luther Burden, and Rome Odunze. That should be interesting, along with the two tight ends, Cole Kmet and Colston Lovin, the rookie. Obviously, much improved offensive line, and the defense, that's been the big back support for the Bears last year. And now it's gotten pretty much even better. Watch out for this team to make the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Next up, we got Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to put them in missing the playoffs. I would put them in playoff contenders or maybe even Super Bowl contenders if they had a competent defense, but unfortunately, they don't. Because they have an elite offense, Joe Burrow at quarterback, Chase Brown at running back, wide receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You also got Mike Gesicki at tight end. Offensive line definitely leaves room for improvement. They re-signed Trey Hendrickson. They got Shamar Stewart on the team finally. But they lost Jermaine Pratt, their anchor of the linebacker core. And their defense has been pretty much unproven for the most part. Is any one of those guys going to step up, or at least a few of them? I guess we'll find out. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, you could just go ahead and go contend for the number one pick. Besides a couple of notable players, Jerry Jeudy, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, this team is just complete awful. Lost Nick Chubb to the Houston Texans. Not much receiver room besides Jeudy. They do have some bright spots at tight end, David Njoku and Harold Fannin. Defense looks pretty nice, but it's just the offensive struggles are going to be a big concern. I feel so bad for Kevin Stefanski, but he might get fired if he doesn't get the Browns to the playoffs again. Up next, we got the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they're going to be completely awful. Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be complete ass, but they will still miss the playoffs. Yeah, they're not mediocre. You still got Dak. They still have CeeDee Lamb. They still signed George Pickens. Still got a good tight end in Jake Ferguson. Offensive line, not too bad. Defense took a massive hit with the Micah Parsons situation. Now they got Kenny Clark, who is pretty much 10 times worse than Micah Parsons. But Kenny Clark's still alright. I'm on the low end of missing the playoffs. I'm almost tempted to put them in mediocre at best, but I'm not exactly going to. They're still the Cowgirls. They're going to pull some tomfoolery that none of us expect. Up next, the Denver Broncos. I am going to put them also in playoff contenders. I'm not going to put them in Super Bowl contenders just yet. I think they need 1 or 2 more years before they can get that kind of nod. Bo Nix had a stellar rookie year, They also have R.J. Harvey as a starting running back. Wide receivers, Cortland Sutton. Then you got Marvin Mims, Pratt Bryant, Troy Franklin, hopefully trying to get that wide receiver too so that Marvin Mims can play slot. New acquisitions include Evan Ingram at tight end. There are also Drake Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga on the defense. On an already stacked defense for the Broncos. Guys like Pat Surtain, the best DB in the league. You also have, I'm trying to figure it out, Nick Bonito, who was quite impressive last season. I think Zach Allen's still there. Brandon Jones also out there, safety, doing his thing. This team could definitely contend for that AFC West now that we know that Kansas City is not quite as strong as we believe. Or are they? Next up, we got Detroit Lions. I don't think they are going to be out of playoff contenders just yet, but they're no longer Super Bowl contenders in my opinion. Like Detroit, they retained quite a lot of their players. Aiden Hutchinson's coming back. Jared Goff was playing like an MVP for a while. You got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery as the running back duo. Leonard St. Brown, J-Mo at the wide receivers, along with Sam Laporta at tight end. A nice defense led by Mr. Hutchinson, along with Kirby Joseph at safety. Dan Campbell's a nice head coach, but it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to do without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn as they went to two different teams to get head coaching jobs. Up next, we got the Green Bay Packers. They're 100% playoff contenders here. I don't think they're exactly ready for a Super Bowl just yet, but they still got a lot of nice pieces around them. Of course, you got Jordan Love as the quarterback. Josh Jacobs, a very impressive running back. They drafted their first wide receiver in the first round since 2002, and Matthew Golden. He looks to be playing alongside Jaden Reed on the other side of him. Tucker Kraft looks to be a starting tight end, and he looks to be as impressive as he was last year. Then you also got a pretty nice offensive line and also defense that consists of Michael Parsons and not really much else. Well, there's also Rashawn Gary as well. And perhaps Quay Walker when he stops crashing out. Not a bad team, but I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders quite yet. Next up, we got the Houston Texans, playoff contenders because of their weak-ass division. Yeah, you heard me. Houston is in the AFC South, probably the worst division in the entire league. C.J. Stroud looks to rebound from a little bit of a sloppy sophomore year. You got Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon as the RB1 and 2. I think Dameon Pierce is going to get RB2 up until, Mixon gets healthy. Then you got wide receivers at Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Jalen Knoll, and Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. Yeah, I had to make sure I said those right. Tight end and Dalton Schultz, very underrated but very nice tight end. Offensive line got worse. That's like a very big concern. Then you also got defensive line led by Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. Linebacker core led by Henry TuoTuo. And also a secondary led by Derek Stingley Jr., who got paid a massive payday. This team has great talent, but unless they fix their offensive line situation or at least a couple of offensive linemen step up, yeah, they're not going to finish lower than 4th seed in the AFC. Not as Super Bowl contenders either. Next up, we got Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to put them in mediocre at best. The first team on this, the first entry on this list, Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. You got Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs as the wide receiver group. And you also got rookie Tyler Warren as the tight end as well. I'm not saying the offense is ass. It just seems like it's the same team except they lost a few pieces on defense as well as the offensive line. And now they're starting Daniel Jones at quarterback. At least he'll be more accurate than 2024 Anthony Richardson, right? Either way, this team isn't really going anywhere with Shane Steichen. He's going to be fired. Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm actually going to put him in potential wild card. This is a little bit of a hot take, but just trust me on this one. This team has way too much talent to finish with less than 7 wins, at least. You got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, had a great 2022, but has since fallen off after that. Or was it 2023? I can't remember. Oh no, it was 2022. You also got Travis Etienne and Tank Bixby out there as the running back duo. Wide receiver core consistent of Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. He also plays DB, Hunter does. Brent Strange is a tight end I'm looking at to be a very reliable tight end. Offensive line took a hit when Brandon Sheriff retired from the NFL, so a little bit concerning there. But the defense, though, Travis Hunter at the cornerback position, along with Tyson Campbell, you got a defensive line that consists of Eric Armstead and Josh Hines Allen. I think Devin Lloyd heads the Jacksonville linebacker group, along with Foye Oluokun. Oh yeah, don't get me started on Trayvon Walker. This team has so much talent on this team. Why in the hell did they have a bad year last year? And this is also Liam Cohen's first season after spending a couple seasons helping Baker Mayfield revive his career. Let's hope he can do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Up next on this list, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. As much as I hate to put them here, gotta put them as Super Bowl contenders. Or excuse me, favorites. I mean, come on, Kansas City's been in the last 3 Super Bowls. 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, actually. Never ever bet against Kansas City. Especially when, they have the little zebras with them. I mean, they're not exactly as scary as they used to, but they still have Andy Reid, the best active head coach in the league. They also still have the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes. Running back room is really the most concerning thing about this team. Wide receiver core, Rashee Rice is actually going to be suspended. So you got Xavier Worthy, maybe Jalen Royals. You still got Travis Kelce. If he can get over Taylor Swift, he would actually play some football and be really good tight end. Perhaps a Pro Bowler, maybe All-Pro. You also got some great defenders. Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, Trent McDuffie as well. They're trying to work out a new contract. Don't get me wrong, they got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, especially the defense. Do not be surprised that Kansas City gets a 2 seed and goes all the way to the Super Bowl again. Next up, we have the LA Chargers, 100% playoff contenders, not Super Bowl contenders. Jim Harbaugh is a very nice coach. Justin Herbert, he got turned into a very accurate quarterback. Running back room, pretty solid. Najee Harris, a couple of 1,000-yard seasons for him. You also got rookie Amari Hampton to back him up. Wide receiver room consisting of Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, and returning Keenan Allen. Things didn't work out in Chicago, so he just decided to return to the team that drafted him. Hopefully, Tyler Conklin become a very nice tight end. He also got, or is Will Disley on Seattle? I thought Will Disley was on the Chargers, but I guess not. Offensive line was supposed to be probably one of the best in the league, and then Rashawn Slater got injured. Definitely need to find a reliable offensive tackle in place of him. Defense took a hit with the whole Joey Bosa situation, but they still do have Khalil Mack. They still have Derwin James at safety. They got quite a bit of talent on that team as well. Don't be surprised if the Chargers come in there with one of the best defenses in the league and still become a playoff team. Because it's going to happen. Next up, we got LA Rams, 100% Super Bowl contenders here. I think they're going to win the NFC West. They got a high-flying offense, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua. They also got Devontae Adams in free agency. Pretty nice offensive line, a little bit tampered with the Jonah Jackson situation. Oh yeah, don't forget Tyler Higbee. Defense consisting of Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. You also got Cam Curl and Cam Kitchens. That defense is very young, has a lot of time to be able to grow and improve. Offense is definitely going to score some points. Defense is going to show up and show why they are not to be messed with. Up next, we got Las Vegas Raiders. I think they're going to be missing the playoffs this season. I think Pete Carroll's a nice head coach. Oh yeah, Coach McVay, one of the best in the NFC. But as far as Pete Carroll and the Raiders, Pete Carroll brings a lot of experience to the Raiders, a lot of prestige as well. Geno Smith, that quarterback, he's very familiar with Pete Carroll's schemes. You also got Ashton Jeanty starting at running back. Wide receiver room consisting of Jacoby Myers, unless he wants to be traded. Trey Tucker's also there. Jack Beck. You also got Dante Thornton, and also returning Amari Cooper. You also got Brad Bowers at tight end. Very nice offensive line. But the main concern is the defense, aside from Max Crosby. Robert Spillane is gone. Secondary hasn't exactly looked great. It's going to be kind of almost like the Bengals. It's going to be offense can be above average, but they still won't make the playoffs because of an absolute garbage defense, aside from the pass rush. Next up, Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry, they're going to miss the playoffs again. unless Tua fixes his little concussion situation, I don't see this Dolphins team going much of anywhere. That's not saying that they don't have talent, because they do. They got Devon Achane as a running back. They got Tyreek Hill if he wants to stay with Miami. Jalen Waddle as a wide receiver as well. Tight end, of course, you got Darren Waller out of free agency after he unretired. Offensive line's not completely awful. Defense kind of took a hit, but you also got Minka Fitzpatrick, who was coming off a Pro Bowl season, I think. Along with perhaps Zach Sealer on the defensive line. You also got Chop Robinson out there as an edge. Linebacker core led by, I think, Jalen Phillips. Like, the defense for Miami is definitely something to really watch, because the offense, unless Tua stays healthy, oh boy, it's going to get rough. But if he does stay healthy, then Dolphins might be going places. Man, I don't know. Up next, we got Minnesota Vikings. This one is a little tricky. I'm going to put them in a wild card for right now, because I have no idea how J.J. McCarthy is going to play. Got a lot of talent. Eric Jones and Jordan Mason is the running backs. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison making up the wide receiver duo, even though Addison will be suspended for a few games. Of course, good offensive line. TJ Hawkinson is a very nice tight end. Defense, definitely got to upgrade to Jonathan Allen. You also got Jonathan Greenard out there in Minnesota. Pretty nice. Andrew Van Ginkel leading the linebacker core. You also got, I believe his name is Murphy, like Byron Murphy or something. Anyways, he's leading the secondary along with, I think Harrison Smith's still around. Or did he retire? I don't think so. They also got a freaking spectacular coach. Kevin O'Connell is a beast. He could definitely lead a J.J. McCarthy-led team to the playoffs if he could lead a Sam Darnold-led team in the playoffs. I do kind of like Sam Darnold now. Up next, we have the New England Patriots. I'm going to put them in potential wild cards, and here's why. Mike Vrabel is a very nice head coach. Tennessee made a huge mistake of getting rid of him. Drink me, a very young quarterback, now into his second year. Ramondre Stevenson, he's not terrible at a running back position. You got Stephon Diggs, you got Demario Douglas. I don't know. Oh, wait, the Bills do have Mac Hollins. My bad. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Mac Hollins on the Patriots now. Receiver room is not completely awful. Offensive line, got it upgraded in the draft. Will Campbell. Defense is really where it's at right now. They made some big splashes out there. Milton Williams on the defensive line along with Keon White. You got linebackers in terms of Robert Spillane and Harold Landry. Kyle Duggar, of course, leading the secondary. Along with, I actually don't even know. Oh, wait, no. Christian Gonzalez, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Don't worry, I do know ball. For those shit talkers that are saying I don't know ball, trust me, I do. Defense is definitely much improved. Offense is kind of the same thing, except a little bit better. You got Hunter Henry as a tight end. Almost forgot about him. Especially with a guy like Mike Vrabel, who has great experience as a head coach, has some great playoff experience. Patriots might sneak into the playoffs out of the AFC. And that's saying as a kind of a Tom Brady kind of hater. Because, he used to play for the Patriots and he completely humiliated us. Up next, we got the Saints. Probably the worst team in the NFL. The worst roster, of course. When your best quarterback is Spencer Rattler, that's how you know you're going to be ass. They do have nice pieces around them. You got Alvin Kamara. You still have Chris Olave. You got Rashid Shaheed. Tight ends Jawan Johnson and Warren Missile. Offensive line definitely took a hit when Ryan Ramczyk actually retired. And fortunately for them, the defense is not getting any younger. Sure, you do still have Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, but Honey Badger retired out of the secondary. I'm not sure where Paulson Adebo went. Did he go to Houston? I can't remember now. Yeah, but anyways, oh yeah, by the way, rookie Kelvin Banks is out there in the offensive line. Just don't trust the Saints to really do anything. If it comes down to it and you have to depend on the Saints to help you, yeah, you're screwed. Up next, we have the New York Football Giants. I'm going to put them in young but intriguing. That is not because of Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. That's because of Jackson Dart. Along with him is Tyrone Tracy and maybe Cam Scatterboo, but right now it's Devin Singletary. You got Malik Neighbors, you got Wan'Dale Robinson. I think you still have Darius Slayton out there as a wide receiver core. Tight end definitely leaves more to be desired. Theo Johnson's out there, but definitely could have been better. Offensive line, perhaps led by Andrew Thomas. Not sure yet. Defense consistent of Dexter Lawrence and recently acquired Javon Holland. I think this team could definitely be better, but once again, I've been saying this for numerous amounts of occasions. The schedule that the Giants have is absolutely detrimental. That's what's holding this team back right now, because if they had any easier schedule, they have like a middle-of-the-pack schedule, trust me, they would have won like 7 or 8 games. Next up, we got the New York Football Jets, Jets. I'm putting them in mediocre, literally just because they're the Jets. Recently picked up Justin Fields this offseason. You still got running back Breece Hall. I think you got Brandon Allen as well as the backup. You got Garrett Wilson as the really only great wide receiver out there. Tight end, I would say, is now Mason Taylor. I'm not actually sure, because he was a starting tight end for a while, but I don't know the actual depth chart right now. Defense isn't terrible. Offensive line on paper looks not terrible either, as long as they stay healthy. On the part of the defense, you got Dexter Lawrence, Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams. You also got Sauce Gardner as a corner. Like, they have pieces on that defense that Eric Glenn could definitely use to his advantage. But if you can't coach Justin Fields to be a great quarterback, not only running but also passing, yeah, the Jets aren't doing shit. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, last year's Super Bowl champs. They're definitely Super Bowl favorites, Lost a couple of pieces like Darius Slay. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson left as well. Obviously, Milton Williams left, but they were able to get Zach Bond to come back. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rushers, the running back. You got wide receivers and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You also got tight end Dallas Goedert. Great offensive line. Defense consistent of, well, I know Brandon Graham definitely retired. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. You also got linebackers like Zach Bond. I think Nakobe Dean. And I can't remember somebody else. A secondary consistent of Ray Blankenship, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean looks very interesting. As much as Nick Sirianni is a little shitbag, he's still got a great roster. Probably the best in the NFC. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to say potential wild cards right now. Literally because you can't underestimate Mike Tomlin's tenure to be above 500 at all times. Moved on from Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to make way for Aaron Rodgers. Also got Jalen Warren, perhaps Caleb Johnson out there as the Pittsburgh Steelers running back 2. Lost George Pickens, but was able to get DK Metcalf, but that's pretty much the only great wide receiver out there. And you do have Calvin Austin at times. Fryermuth's a nice tight end. Offensive line looks solid. Defense, of course, is being led by TJ Watt, but that doesn't mean he's the only great defender on this team. Did I say defender? Oh, shit. Other defenders includes people like Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith, along with Patrick Queen. Secondary consistent of, well, Micah Fitzpatrick left, but you also got Jalen Ramsey. For some reason, Benny Bishop got released when I thought he played decent. I'm not expecting Pittsburgh to really make any noise out there. Up next, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not exactly sold on them just yet. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. Replace Geno Smith with Sam Darnold. You also got Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet as the running back duo. Mike McDonald is the coach. He was coming off a rookie season with a 10-win season out there. After just missing the playoffs, you also got wide receivers JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, along with Cooper Kupp. Seattle, for some reason, got rid of Noah Fant. I thought he was a pretty decent tight end. Offensive line is going to be the biggest concern, but they were able to get an interior offensive lineman in the draft with Graham Zabel. I can't remember to say his name. Defense, of course, with Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence now. You also have Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon heading in the secondary. Linebackers do leave more to be desired. I think they'll be an okay team, but they just won't be, kind of a playoff contender kind of team. Up next, we got San Francisco 49ers. I think they should be just fine. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders quite yet after a lot of their defenders left. They still do have Nick Bosa. They still have Fred Warner. Secondary got tampered with Jacavius Warder, something like that. He went to the Colts. Of course, you got Brock Purdy at quarterback. Deebo Samuel left at wide receiver. So you got Brandon Ayuk, who's injured. And your receiver core at the start of the season is not great. You got CMC at running back, though. And also George Kittle at tight end. And should I mention about a top 10 offensive line? Like, this team has great pieces. It was just, they had an injury-riddled season last year. This year's bounce back time or potential firing over there in the Bay Area. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got 3 teams left. I think this team is a definite Super Bowl contender. Top 5 offensive line, top 5 defensive line, especially with guys like Elijah Cansey, Vita Vea. Off the line consistent of Tristan Wirfs, who will miss week 1. Obviously, you got Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irvin, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Mika Buka, rookie wideout. You still have Cade Otton, tight end. You also got Antoine Winfield, Levante David. I mean, like, they got pieces everywhere. I've been saying this, too. The only thing holding them back is the coaching. Todd Bowles is not as good as people give him credit for. There's a reason why he only has 1 playoff win in his career. How do people not see through it? He's a regular season coach. That's it. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans. They're young, but they do leave more to be desired. I don't think they're there yet to be contending for a wild card spot just yet. They're going to have to wait like 1 or 2 years. Cam Ward is the quarterback. You still got Tony Pollard at running back. Calvin Ridley is a nice addition. You know, I think... Oh, wait, no, Mr. Nakini's gone. So now you got Tyler Lockett as a wide receiver, too. Jacob Conwell was the tight end. Very nicely done there. Offensive line is not too bad. You know, J.C. Latham, Peter Skoronski out there as the offensive tackles. Defense looks solid as well, but yeah, it's just we need some guys to really step up. And finally, we got the Washington Commanders. I do think they are Super Bowl contenders here, even with the old defensive core. Jaden Daniels off a magical rookie season looks to keep it going in the sophomore year. Brian Robinson's gone, so now you got Austin Eckler, I think, starting at running back. Offensive line got better with Larry Tunsil as an addition. You also got Sam Cosmi as well. Wide receiver core consisting of Terry McLaurin. I think every single one of the depth pretty much left. That's pretty much it for wide receivers, kinda. You also got tight end Zach Ertz. Defensively, you did lose Jonathan Allen. You do have Teron Payne. You got a linebacker core consisted of Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. Secondary, you know, probably one of the worst secondaries in the league. But if Dan Quinn can turn that team around in 1 whole season, just imagine what he could do in year 2. And that is going to do it for the NFL team tier list, the final one for 2025 before the season starts. Make sure you stay tuned for that week 1 predictions tomorrow. In the meantime, that'll do it for this episode of Grizzly Talks Football. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give this a big damn thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. This is the Grizzly signing off for now, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace, love, keep the Grizzly vibes with you at all times. Take care.